The models have spoken. Well, one model has spoken, and I don't know which one. But there is a model that is pushing some of this weather a little bit south here over the next few days.
Well, that's funny because I saw a great tweet yesterday of here's the models for this weekend, and it looks like a child. It looked like a placemat that I had when I was 7 years old that has like all the states and their capitals when you're learning your capitals, and it looks like just crayon all over with a bunch of different colors, and that's your model for the weekend. Like I've seen our high be as high as 60 on Sunday.
Whoa.
And I've seen it as high as 26 on Sunday. I don't know what to believe anymore.
This one right here? That model?
Yes. Yeah. It's so good.
That's essentially what it looks like.
Yeah, it does.
A lot of it.
It's so good.
There are models that say we're not going to make it. There are models that say we will get feet of ice. There are models that say we get no precipitation. So we'll see. Just be weather aware this weekend. We'll keep you covered here on Jocks best we can. We were mentioning a little bit of what is happening with Alabama basketball. And Charles Bediako, apparently, according to Jeff Goodman, Nate Oates wants to play him this weekend. My understanding is that Alabama is working towards getting him back. We had questions about that the last couple of days. My understanding is that he has been in school trying to finish his degree, and one of the things that's important to them is that he does want to continue his education and finish his degree. So therefore, looking to kind of help him with this. I'll say it on the surface that I don't like it. I don't like it at Alabama. I don't like it at Baylor. I don't like it at Santa Clara. I don't like it at any of these places because you have foregone something that is now being returned. And I don't feel like that it's something that should be granted back because of legalities or small print or anything of that nature. But we're finding different ways at Ole Miss and at Louisville and different places to attempt to bring these guys back into play. And I fear for what doors this opens in the future. Now, Kentucky head basketball coach Mark Pope had a little bit of a different stand on this, and I've actually seen multiple people around college basketball say something similar. Actually not say it, actually suggest something similar. This is Mark Pope discussing players who have played professional basketball now coming back to play collegiate basketball.
At some point, I don't have hard feelings towards anybody making any decision because every single college program and college coach are the most competitive people in the world. They're going to try and find any avenue they can to find an advantage. It's what we're paid to do. It's what we do. The one stopgap that is kind of spreading right now that maybe has some legs, it's kind of a last stand, is the NCAA does get to decide who gets to go to the NCAA tournament. Like, they get to decide that. They have that power. And so at some point when they've been very, very clear about what the rules that they're going to try and enforce, they might lose in court, but they still get to decide what games count towards the NCAA tournament. And I'm not saying that to penalize any team. I'm just saying that because at some point it is important that we take a stand and regain some tiny ounce of sanity. And until someone tells me different, I still believe the NCAA has full power over who gets in the NCAA tournament and what games they count towards your NCAA tournament bid. And at the end of the day, that is what drives all of us. So hopefully we'll take a stand there and clean this up for everybody. Because right now everybody is chasing their tails, and I think it's a place we can take a stand. I hope we will. This game matters too much. The NCAA tournament is too extraordinary a deal. These high school players and these young players and all these players matter too much.
Now you think about that, G-Mac, where you could go do this, and then a month and a half, 2 months later, the NCAA could say, oh, yeah, those games don't count for our committee as far as putting you in. I don't know how much thought's going to go into that from some of these coaches. I don't know if they'll care. I would imagine if that did take place, there will be lawyers at that point.
Why? NCAA owns the tournament.
But Mark Pope makes a great point that you decide what is allowed and what isn't, and what is forgivable and what is not, and could be something that we're staring at here in a month and a half, 2 months of how and why certain teams do or don't get in.
Yeah, mess around, find out. It would be the NCAA's approach there, right? Be like, hey, you want to do this? You want to circumvent our rules? We'll put an end to it real quickly. And he's 100% right. Like every coach is wired to try to create a competitive advantage. It is not morality. It is not like that. To me is amazing to me how people how they struggle to differentiate between like real world living and trying to create an edge so that your team can have a competitive advantage. That to me, that doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't mean you skate the rules. Just means, hey, if the rules are going to be this ambiguous, we're going to do what we have to do to create an advantage.
Yeah.
Like, is it illegal to steal signs? Yeah, to an extent, like Connor Stallion's putting a database together with video evidence.
Standing on the opposite team's sideline when you're not employed by them?
Correct. That's one thing. But if I pick them up throughout the course of the game, you don't think when I saw a team do a palms check when we got an empty, I didn't document what they got into? Of course I did. Of course. So that doesn't make you wrong. And I don't think Nate Oates is wrong in this scenario. I think the NCAA is wrong for not doing something about it. And this is not Nate Oates' situation. This is not. And what's funny is like all my Bama buddies, a lot of my Bama buddies are like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is awesome. I'm like, in what way is this awesome? Like if Janai Broome decided to come back to Auburn tomorrow, you would be losing your mind. Losing your mind.
You mean the Bama fans would be?
Correct.
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
buddies.
100%.
Like you'd be losing your mind. Because it's like, wait a second, what are we doing? That's not right.
Yeah, that dude just put up a 50 spot in the G League.
So just all things considered, it just is uncomfortable. And I don't like guys challenging for eligibility. I don't want 32-year-olds playing college sports. I don't want that ever. And this leads to more of that.
Indiana football guys back out now.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, what's to stop some of the Indiana players say, hey, let's run it back, boys. The NCAA just granted some extra eligibility to some guys. Let's go.
Now, I'm just being fair here. I'm not. I have said I place no blame towards Alabama, towards Nate Oates, towards that administration, because we've given you 4 or 5 other schools that this is happening at. One of the differences is because Saber responded to somebody on Twitter yesterday. There was a lot of back and forth of NBA contract, not NBA contract. I'm not even going to go there. One of the biggest differences that you're going to see is that Bediako previously played college basketball. A lot of the others that are being referenced here did not. And that's where a lot of people are going to lean is, yes, G League, yes, professional overseas, but have not yet played college basketball. I'm just letting you know when this begins to go back and forth and the ping pong match begins to happen of this guy, that guy, why not, yes, no, maybe, who cares, we care, this is why, that's one thing that's going to be thrown out. I don't like any of it. I don't like it anywhere. Now, where you really want to get difficult and convoluted with this is take some of the other Olympic sports and how they're treated professionally. Now, basketball is very difficult overseas because it would be great. We need to ask Richard about this again when he comes on Monday. But my understanding is you start playing professionally overseas at a lot of places, in a lot of instances, at an extremely young age. Like it's not the AAU stuff. It's not the camps. Like you just go ahead and start playing professional basketball. That's why their skill sets are so good, is they get them involved in that right away, and then they get going. I don't have all the details of that and know how that works, but you look at tennis, golf, a couple of the other, like a lot of these Olympic sports, especially overseas, they're playing different levels of professional sports with what they operate in before they come play in college. So there are other examples of it in other sports that happen a lot. So you're going to be able to point to one thing and say, look, this happened there, or this sport does this. And you're going to be able to offset it a little bit. The reality is, kind of as Greg stated, you chose not to go do this, and now you're saying that you want to come back. I think it's a bad look. And at some point in time, you can say the NCAA has to put their foot down. Well, they attempted to, and a judge in Tuscaloosa overruled them and now has granted this temporary restraining order to where Bediako is going to be able to go play. It appears. And Nate says he's going to play him. So we'll find out Saturday.
If he tells him that he can play him. I mean, I got no problem with that. That to me is not the issue here. Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do with that. It has more to do with the fact that we're allowing all these rules to be bent and and adjusted and interpreted, and like we're determining how our sport is regulated in the courts. Like I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable. Same reasons why there's issues that I have with some of the eligibility conversation that we see in college football. Like I don't like. It makes me. To me, college is very, very simple. You play college football. You have 5 years to play 4. Pretty simple. 5 years to play 4. If you want to get rid of the redshirt rule, by all means, I don't care about that anymore. It's beside the point. Play 5 years. That's how long you have. And in any event, when you're going throughout the course of this process of playing college sports, if you determine that you want to go try your hand in the NFL and or basketball, the NBA and or the MLB, you don't get a do-over. Like this is your one shot. And if you pass on your one shot, it's over. It's done. You thought you were better than college. You chose better. That to me is never going to be okay to come back and get a do-over and second chance. I'm never going to be okay with that because it takes away opportunities from other people. Like that's probably the biggest problem that I have is that high school guys, ultimately the trickle down here is the high school guys are getting crushed. Crushed.
I still go back to just your locker room. And what is that going to do? Because at the end of the day, whether you're talking about Washington adding Nicolo Despina from Serbia, Dayton adding Sean Poudet from a pro team in Belgium, Ole Miss adding TJ Clark, who played in the G League and professionally in Mexico, BYU adding Abdullah Ahmed from Egypt, played 54 games for the Westchester Knicks in the G League, USC taking Robert Morris transfer Cam Woods for the second semester who had played professionally before. Somebody's minutes are getting taken.
Yes.
At the end of the day, better player, help, off the bench, somebody's minutes who has been on that team are now going to be gone. And as we all know who have played high-level sports, even if it's not your minutes, it's probably your buddy's minutes. It's probably your guy's minutes.
Yes.
Who went through those workouts with you, who's been there with you, who's been in the meetings with you, who's been in the weight room with you, and been in the training room with you, and now so-and-so's coming in, and even if it's not my minutes gone, like, oh, so Greg minutes are gone? Oh, so he's taking Damien's minutes?
Yep.
What was the point of us even having off-season meetings?
Mm-hmm.
Why did we work out as a team? Why did we come to that barbecue at your house? Why did we go to the lake and go tubing as a team? What was the point?
Yes.
We're just going to bring in guys to take our minutes that we've all been working to get? And I don't know. That to me would be the bigger challenge than any of this.
I think what's the great scene in Miracle? Great scene. One of the best scenes of the entire movie. Y'all might not even remember it. They're sitting there and they're playing and they bring in this guy that's having a big year for Minnesota. They bring him in at the last minute. Final cuts are a couple weeks away. He comes in, he's balling out. He's one of the best players on the team. And what do the captains do? Mike Eruzione, others go and approach Herb Brooks and say, hey, this is our team. This is our team. And they say, well, you don't think he's been playing? This guy's got the look. He's got the feel. He's got everything that you could possibly want. This guy's got everything you could want in a player. It's exactly the type of guy I want on this roster. And he said, well, he hasn't been with us. And Herb says, you don't think he's been playing for the last 4 months? He has. And he says, not with us, he hasn't. And what did Herb Brooks ultimately do? Send him packing. And that to me is that I agree with Cole, the dynamic. We just saw the ultimate team, a different sport, I get it. We just saw the ultimate team win the national championship in college football. A team that checked their ego at the door, did all the little things right, collaborated remarkably well. So it's not just a Bediako thing. It's just across the board. You had someone late to the party, it's going to disrupt the rhythm, disrupt the chemistry. And that is something that would be concerning for me as well. I think it'll be fine because these guys are all basically acting like pros now. But it's still tough and strange and uncomfortable. And regardless of who you cheer for, it's just an awkward situation.
Damien, where are you on this whole deal with Bediako and in general across college basketball?
I mean, now the NCAA, at some point you gotta make a decision. Like you have to be. I don't know how much more black and white you have to be of just what is eligibility and what isn't. And kind of to Greg's point, it's not Bediako's fault. It's kind of if I have a chance, if I got a chance to come back, can I
I'd
do
do
it?
it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'll come back. But it's just unfortunate too because you bet on yourself, which I get. More power to you. But kind of to your point, Greg, it's man, you made your decision that you didn't want to. Like you made a decision to go pro.
You thought you were better than college basketball.
Yeah, you got it. Like go. You have to pursue this, man. You can come back and get your degree. That's great. But as far as coming back to the locker room and playing, it's bro. We've played 22 games without you, man. Like we kind of got it right here. But if you come back, I mean, that's Nate Oates' decision to whether you play or not. But I would be, if I was in the locker room, I'd be uncomfortable. Like it would just be uncomfortable. It was like, hey, man,
How could you not be?
Yeah, like, hey, we've been grinding. Like this team is kind of starting to put it together. We appreciate you. We know how talented you are, but also like, man, you got to get back into our good graces because you could have come back with us to begin with. Like you could have been in this process with us, but you decided to go pro. Which go ahead, do what you need to do. But as far as coming back, it'd be uncomfortable.
No, the one side of this would be if you have a very mature team that believes truly deep down inside that they are close and they are truly unselfish. And let's just say in this instance, Nate Oates could say, guys, we're struggling here. This is a strength of his game. He can give us an aspect that we're missing or we don't have. He can help us. I think we're a tournament team. This could make us a Final Four team. But 16 minutes a game are going to be gone from whoever. Has he addressed it with him beforehand? I don't know.
Maybe
he has.
And maybe you don't
if
need to
Yeah,
nowadays.
maybe if you sold it that way, yeah.
Maybe you don't need to nowadays. That's why it's the dynamic has changed so much. It's become so professionalized. Like maybe you don't need to. Hey, guess what? This guy makes us better. We're going. Like maybe that's all you got to say. None of y'all can protect the rim. We've seen that, or whatever. Like none of y'all can do it as well as he does it, whatever it might be. So like, I mean, I don't know if you have to say much anymore because these guys have all been professionalized to an extent.
Yep. We'll ask Stephen Pearl, Auburn head basketball coach, about it and about his team moving forward next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is 8:20 Thursday, January 22nd, right here on Jocks. Talk some more college basketball. Auburn head basketball coach Stephen Pearl going to be with us here in just a moment. Don't forget about Game Day Men's Health, though. If you are lacking sleep, lacking energy, feeling on edge, if you put on a few pounds over the holidays, Game Day Men's Health can help you today. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com, sign up for the free consultation. You're going to get the free PSA test, free testosterone test. They'll let you know where your baseline health is, then present the different ways that they can help. Peptides, weight loss can help with any of that, and you save 10% on any of those by mentioning Mac and Cube when you walk in the front door. Holistic approach to health and wellness. Minimal upfront costs in the programs they offer. Book that free consultation today. GameDayMen'sHealth.com, now open in Trussville. Stephen Pearl, head coach of the Auburn men's basketball team, coming off a nice win against Ole Miss on the road and looking to head into more hoops this weekend. Joins us to discuss his team, but also college basketball. Before we dive into your team, Coach, I just would love to hear your thoughts on where we are with players that have professional experience. Some have played college basketball, some have not, being added to rosters across college basketball. Where should we go? Where do we need to be, in your opinion, on this topic?
You guys just came out with the heat right away, didn't you?
Right away.
Jeez. Man, yeah, it's a slippery slope, and I got to be careful with my comments because obviously I don't know if the young man from Alabama is playing this weekend. I know he's eligible to play, so I don't want to, put one foot in front of the other. But just I've been pretty, in my comments, based on the rules that we are given or lack thereof, like we got to do, coaches are going to do what they have to do in order to win basketball games, and I totally understand that. And, that's just the landscape of where we're at right now. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it wrong. I think people are just trying to get a competitive advantage where they can. And, if you look at the Baylor situation and you look at, what potentially could be happening in Alabama, that's what's happening there. That coaching staff and that administration are trying to put themselves in the best possible situation to win games. And I totally understand that. Like I said, doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. For me, it's slippery because, if I put myself in that situation and, say I bring in Sharif Cooper, played 1 year for us during COVID. He actually, based on the timeline, could do what Bediako's doing and play the rest of the season potentially. What am I going to say to Travis Pettiford, Todd's dad, bringing in a kid like that in the middle of the year, to potentially compete with or replace his son? Or, if we could afford it and we could bring Jabari Smith back, what am I going to say to Sebastian's mom, Karima Williams, about, you know what I mean? Like that's where I struggle with it because, you're having to make these decisions to win games, but then, you're also having to deal with the repercussions of dealing with, you made promises to some of these players and their parents, and you might be going back on some of those things now, or, and then in the future in recruiting, you do this in the middle of the season and you're going to sit there with a straight face and tell a recruit, I'm not going to over-recruit you. Well, yeah, you did, coach. You did it in the middle of the season. So it's tough because you want to win, but all at the same time, like, you got to be able to save face with, your current roster and then, potentially down the road with some recruits. So it's tough, man. I don't know the answer. I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions because, there really is no right answer, and it's hard to come, for everyone to come to an agreement. But man, it's an interesting world that we're living in right now in college sports.
Hey, if you could find a way to trump Jabari's contract to get him to come back, I think most of your problems are solved. I think you'd be in a pretty good spot right there.
Are on the court, it would definitely help us on the court for sure. But I don't think we can afford him or Walker Kessler right now with the money that they're making. But, if you were to sit here and be like, hey, you could get Dylan Cardwell back for a couple games, like, man, the prospect would be pretty exciting. But, like I said, you're having to deal with some fallout, when you make those decisions, and, you got to weigh the risk and the reward. And that's what, these coaches are having to do right now.
It's really tough. I do feel like, Coach, and I think you're great to speak to this because of how involved you've been on the recruiting process, and now being the head coach, you kind of seen it from both sides. I feel like the players now are a little more professionalized, but they're also at the same time still kids. So that reaction that you just described between Pettiford's dad and yourself would be unique. I would understand, but also at the same time, the portal's open every year. So kids are maybe used to it from time to time. So I guess, how has the modern player changed in order to better adapt to a situation like this where their playing time might be shrunk as a result of a new arrival?
Yeah, I mean, I understand the argument that these kids are getting paid money now, so they're considered professionals. But at the same time, like, we also, well, I can't speak for everyone. I got into this profession to help affect change and change the lives of young men. That's still like my motive, and that's still my priority, even if, it's going to be happening on a year by year basis. And you might get burned in some of those situations. One of the best pieces of advice that I've gotten is, you have to care. You just can't ever be surprised right now. You know what I mean? You still got to care about these kids, but you can't be surprised if they do end up ultimately deciding to leave, because that's just the landscape and that's just the nature of the business now. So I understand both sides of it, but at the same time, like, my whole purpose and my whole mission is, one, to help these kids graduate as best I possibly can, to help them become better men on and off the floor, and then three, ultimately help them, achieve their success of playing at the highest level possible.
Stephen Pearl, Auburn head basketball coach, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You have been very public with some of your comments on how and why you've disciplined your basketball team this year. Maybe it's happening a lot of other places and we just don't hear about it. And a lot of people would look at these things and say, man, he's really worried about a guy being late for a meeting, or he's worried about a guy not showing up for the bus on time. These little things, these little details. Was this the plan going in? How has it gone over? And who did you talk about maybe beforehand doing some of these things, as far as that's how you wanted to direct and run your program? Because we feel like there's a lot of coaches out there that aren't going to mess with this and aren't going to try to disrupt minutes or team or happiness for their best players to be able to sort of guide and rule their team the way that you've decided to sometimes this year.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a distraction when it happens, and ultimately, if you don't address those distractions in real time, they become bigger distractions down the road. So for me, like, and here's the deal, if these guys ultimately want to play at the next level, if they're late for breakfast, or if they're late for, a team meeting, or they're late for the bus, well, they probably get left, but two, they're getting a fine, or, they're going to get disciplined in some capacity. So part of our job is to get these young men ready for the real world. And, in your current job, you can't just show up late to things. And so there's an expectation, there's a standard. And, I think, kids still want to be held accountable, and they still want to be disciplined. And, I think it's just part of it's my duty, part of my job to be able to, teach them some of these things. And the best way, I think, to get through to guys is, to affect their minutes and affect their role a little bit in order for them to change. So, people can look at it the outside as, a little nitpicky, which is fine. But at the same time, like, I'm a first-year head coach, and, I gotta, you gotta put your foot down on a few things. And if you just kind of if you're just really loose and lean on some of these things, I think it festers, and I think it gets bad over time, and you really can't hold anyone accountable as the year goes on. So we try and nip it in the bud early, and our guys have responded really well to it.
Coach, you pick up the win at Ole Miss a couple nights ago. It's kind of fun to see what your team's evolving into, to being a team that can really beat you up down low. It appears like you've had some breakthroughs there as well. So is this kind of the team you envisioned, being a team that can really dominate in the paint and kind of handle things from that point going forward?
I think, we've kind of shown that all year, because we've done a great job of getting to the foul line. I think we're top 10 in the country nationally at free throws attempted. So that's kind of been our identity. We have, a number of guys that can get by their men. And anytime we play off 2 feet and use our shot fakes and don't play off 1 foot, like, positive results happen. So it's something that we're going to continue to do. Now, obviously, when you play massive teams like Arizona, Michigan, Florida, Purdue, like, those types of things are going to be a little more difficult, but we still can't get away from it. The part that I'm more excited about, Greg, is that, we made 4 threes in the last 2 games combined,
Yeah.
and we were still able to win both of them because our defense was just really solid. And that's an area that we've really needed to grow. And it's an area that we had struggled, leading up to conference play. And I think, over the last 5 games, I think we've made a lot of progression on that side. And it's an area that we got to continue to do, because, points are going to be hard to come by in this league because there's so many good defensive teams. But then obviously on the road, they're even harder to come by because you're playing in hostile environments. So the fact that we've been able to, win two tough games without really scoring the ball like we're used to because our defense has really been locked in, it's encouraging, but we got to build off that now.
Filip Jovic has been great for you the majority of the season. Feels like he is coming into his own in some different ways in the last week or two. What can he be? What can he continue to grow into be and help your team be a little bit different than they were first half of the season throughout the second half of the season?
It's just another post presence that we can really feed the ball to in post-up situations. You saw what he was capable of in the South Carolina game, and we've had so many teams this year double the post, which has kind of limited what we've been able to do as far as just scoring with our back to the basket. So that was one of the first games where they just played us one-on-one in the post, and he took full advantage of it. So we're able to run more offense for him, and, he looked a lot like the player that I recruited when he was, over in Serbia playing professionally. He's really fast, he's really quick, but he's playing at a better tempo now. He's not playing too sped up. And when he does that, he's incredibly effective. At 6'8", he is really bouncy and athletic, and he's really quick, and he's got a great instinct and a great knack for finding the ball off of like offensive rebounds. And, he's one of our better defenders just sitting down and guarding his man. So he just does so many little things that we ask for. He's incredibly coachable, and he's just continuously gotten better as the year's gone on. I think over the last 4 games, the biggest difference in our team has been the play from our 5 men. Philip and Keyshawn Murphy have both been much better, and it's made our team much better.
Well, Stephen, we appreciate you hopping on with us today. You mentioned that size and being a little bit better in the paint. I know that's going to be a massive challenge this weekend against the Florida Gators. What else has to happen for your team as you guys travel to Gainesville to be able to get a win?
Chinulu needs to come down with COVID. We need him to come down with a – Chinulu has been the biggest difference for them over the last 5 games. Whereas last year he was just a guy that could really just dunk it and rebound it. Now he's, playing with his back to the basket and, just playing really, really well. Does so many little things for him. Had 11 offensive rebounds in their last game. So we got to limit their second chance opportunities. We got to make open shots. We can't, if we make 2 threes in the game again, we're not going to win. We got to do some of the things that we've done defensively and offensively over the last couple to have some success and just continue to build off those things.
It's a big opportunity. We appreciate the time today. Thanks for hopping on with us. You guys have been fun to watch this year, and looking forward to checking you out again this weekend.
All right, fellas. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Stephen Pearl joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, head basketball coach of the Auburn Tigers. They will be in Gainesville for a 3 o'clock tip on ESPN Saturday. And, Greg, you mentioned some of the things happening in the paint. Chinulu and some of the others there for the Gators. It's going to be a handful this weekend.
Big time. And probably it's amazing how quickly that team's kind of rounded into form, too. I mean, they are no joke. And they're a lot of fun to watch. So it'll be a tough challenge for them. But I do think, like he said, with how they've shot it from the perimeter, find a way to win in this league by out rebounding folks, by dominating the paint. Like, that's pretty encouraging, I think, with what you can sustain as you move forward.
Yeah, he's averaging 11.2 rebounds per game, by the way.
That good?
Handful.
Is that good?
And, yeah, you mentioned rounding in the form. You go get a McDonald's All-American and Boogie Fland, you add him. It's not going to be overly difficult to find ways to win some games. But they have looked like they have improved greatly since the very beginning of the season. And as we know, Auburn, it's been a minute since they've gone to Gainesville and gotten a win in basketball. So we'll shelf the basketball conversation for a little bit. I do want to go to Dr. Mel first, who's been on hold for a while, talking about bringing back old players. Mel, what's on your mind today?
Hey, good morning, Cole, Greg, Damon, and John. We're in a perplexing society, and, when will the NCAA ever step up to the plate and put things back in proper perspective? We heard it all season last year. Alabama can't run the ball. Alabama can't run the ball. Perhaps we have the answer from yesterday. Bring back Bediako. Hey, why not bring back Derrick Henry? Couple of years eligibility left. Najee Harris, Trent Richardson. We can vouch Greg for the 5-year rule. The morons at the NCAA don't have sense enough, and I attended 4 years of law school and always were perplexed. The law doesn't love you. The law doesn't hate you, but this thing is completely out of control. Well, the Alabama fans would probably be extremely happy because, as you all may recall, when Derrick Henry played in high school, they had the Derrick Henry rule after 3 touchdowns, so the other players wouldn't be embarrassed. They pretty much shut him down or pull him out the game. We're not run about to run anymore. And it's a nightmare. Once they turn professional, they are professional. I understand Bediako, still in college, want to receive his degree, but, he's probably thinking someone is in his ear. You're making $50,000 a year. You can pick up a couple of mil, bro, still get your degree. The line has to be drawn somewhere. We're in the wild, wild west. And so it will continue until someone puts the stamp down and states that you can win, but you can't win at all costs. And so I'd like to just hang up and hear you all expound on the topic. You guys all played football. I don't know about John, but, yeah, thanks for the great job. Great best sports program in the state of Alabama, brother, and press on.
I appreciate the call as always, Dr. Mill. It's, we've said that we don't like it in general. We don't really understand it, but we're not against it because it's not against the rules. And as you heard Stephen Pearl say, these guys are going to go try to get a competitive edge, and that means bringing in somebody that's played college basketball before or played professionally, and they're allowed to do that within the rules, then so be it. One of our listeners shares us with this. Seth Davis, he quoted the tweet with Mark Pope's audio saying, the temporary restraining order for Bediako specifically states that the NCAA may not penalize Alabama for playing him or even suggesting or implying penalties. So what Pope is asking here would be clear and direct violation of law if Bediako wins his injunction next week. Lots of smart, well-intentioned people have great ideas, but very few of them are actually viable. My response to that would be, does that jurisdiction rule over the NCAA making any sort of a judgment call of teams' eligibility to get into the tournament? I mean, I know that a court in Tuscaloosa says that, but
sure.
Where is that? I mean, I'm just asking honestly because I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. Where is that enforceable?
I have no idea.
Like, does the NCAA get a ticket in Tuscaloosa?
None of this makes sense to me.
I'm dumb when it comes to legal matters.
But
it's like, that sounds really cool, but like I could imagine the NCAA saying, good.
I could see the NCAA. I mean, ultimately they're like, hey, we control who gets in the tournament. And because you blatantly disregarded our ruling, you're no longer eligible. Could they say that? I don't know. I have no idea. And what do you sue? What grounds do you sue on? I don't know. Like, if the tournament starts and you're not in it, what do you do? I really don't know the answer to that. It's a very complex situation. I would think that maybe the conference office would get involved. I would think that there'd be other aspects of it. Like, I really don't know. But I would imagine there's probably, obviously, Bama's the beneficiary in this scenario. I bet you every other coach is probably reaching out to the conference office like, all right, hey, what can we do now? We want a guy to come back too. I don't know. I really don't know, but it's an uncomfortable situation. I don't care what the circumstances are, whether your team benefits from it or not. You can't like where it's heading for the sport. You can't like that. Just in general. And remove basketball, make it football, make it swimming, doesn't matter. Like, remove any of that stuff. You can't like where it's going. To me, college needs to be protected to an extent. I mean, I know it's not amateurism. I understand that. I'm not naive. But it needs to be protected, and the guys that are on the rosters need to be protected, and frankly, the high school guys that are coming up that are the next generation of college athletes need to be protected too. And when you start bringing back guys out of the pros that fail in the pros, now you're impacting the trickle down is more significant than you think. And we have kids. We have kids that hopefully someday they get the opportunity to maybe get a chance to play college sports. Well, I wouldn't feel great if my son was at a school and they determined that he wasn't good enough, so they went out and got somebody else. Like, that would have an impact on me. That would have an impact on my son. That would have an impact on a lot of things. And now there's not a scholarship for him to even be recruited potentially. Like, I don't know. These are all trickle down things that are, it's bigger than just one issue. And is it worth it? I guess is the big question.
Yep.
Like, that's the real question. Is it worth it?
Absolutely. Sam Vicini, who writes for New York Times, wrote an article about this case and saying a situation that genuinely has a chance to tear the mutually beneficial relationship between college basketball and the NBA apart. That you think about maybe getting involved. What could it change?
Yeah.
If the NBA maybe were to step in, and I'm not saying one way or the other, and do they care? I don't know.
How does college benefit from the NBA? Remind me. That the guys that play in college get to go to the NBA? Like, what do we gain as a sport from the NBA?
Well, I do think that you would say, and with the G League now, this almost kind of doesn't count, but like the one and done rule did benefit college for a little while because at least we got Zion for a year, Cooper Flag for a year. Now, they could have gone and played professionally. Some others have done that, be it in China, Europe, now G League, whatever.
Yeah.
Not going to be as financially beneficial, of course.
No.
But that would have been an area that people may have pointed to. So more on that later. Back to college football and back to something that we need your help with. The big question that Greg and I have now is, what do we watch? Help next on Jocks. All right, so college football season is over, and there's a portion of us that has no idea now what to do. So we need your help. We do this annually. We do it every year. May have to finish some of this after we visit with the coach, Wim Sanderson, coming up at the top of the hour. What do we watch now? What's good out there? What should be on deck for us? You know, if you're listening to us, though, how to do that. JocksFM.com. App is in your app store, iPhone, Android. You can always download that for free. Watch us live on YouTube. Search Jocks945 or tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill.
Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC dealer of the year, the national champion of GMC dealers. All you got to do is take the short drive up to Coleman. You'll be glad you did. You'll see Andy Cole. You'll see Jonathan Yeager. They will take great care of you. That's what they do. They do it all the time, and I continue to be grateful for the experience that I have. I'm currently driving one of their vehicles right now. Mine's been in the shop, so getting that thing serviced, they take care of me, and I know they'll take care of you as well. And you can go get yourself a GMC Sierra 1500 4x4 SLT, $15,000 off the sticker price. That's just over $52,000 if you decide to buy it from the largest GMC dealer in Alabama, and they sell more vehicles than anyone in the entire Southeast. So go take the short drive to Coleman, I-65, exit 310, Highway 31. You can also shop online, have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com.
All right, we already have suggestions coming in. I think the most popular one of the most popular ones, Michael Kirby tweets in, just finished watching Landman on Paramount Plus. Also at Cole Cubelic, did you watch the Running Man remake on Paramount Plus? I do not have Paramount Plus, so no, I did not watch that. I do need something solved, though, because Landman has been a common suggestion for my wife and for myself. We have Prime.
And
we don't have Paramount Plus. I have heard both. I have heard you can watch it on Prime. I have heard you have to have Paramount Plus. Does anyone know which it is?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. We have Paramount Plus.
Well, I didn't expect y'all to know. I expected John to know because he's our resident television movie theatrical expert.
Yes and no. In essence, ultimately, you will need Paramount Plus. Now, you can use Prime to get Paramount Plus to do it that way, because what a lot of the apps are doing now is basically becoming your cable box and letting you be your hub. Like through Prime, if you wanted to watch something on HBO Max, you can get Max through Prime and just keep it all in Prime and watch it all there. So ultimately, one way or another, you will need Paramount Plus to watch Landman.
Okay. That didn't make sense, but thank you.
Yes, the helpful.
Do I have to pay for it or not?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I needed to know. I have gotten a couple suggestions on HBO Max. There's a new show out. What is it called? Like The Garage or The Gutter?
John, the Gutter. I haven't heard of this one.
You mean The Pit?
The Pit. That's it.
The Pit.
Yes.
Just like it.
Worth
The
it?
Gutter.
Worth the watch? Good?
Yeah, it's probably the best drama on TV right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Landman's good.
Guy on Landman says cuss words, though.
Oh, okay, wow.
Well, I'm just
Who
saying,
would've
like,
thought
that's,
that?
everybody's like, oh, he says cuss words.
And his
Landman's
daughter says
good.
a lot of other things too, so yeah.
So that's, I mean, you have to watch it because of that, right?
Oh,
Landman's
I guess
really
so.
good.
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
Greg says it's good.
It's very good. You'll
All right.
enjoy Landman.
Also
I've
says
enjoyed it.
Jay-Z's trash. So, I mean, I take that for what you will.
Not trash.
You said he was
said it.
overrated.
You said it.
Overrated.
You said it.
I said
You
overrated.
said
still-
Cheney
which
was the
is still
greatest
incorrect.
rapper
That's
of
the
all time.
difference. That's the difference.
It's still
Like,
wrong nonetheless, but
That's fine. Overrated.
yeah.
Alex Page
Kinda like
says
Landman.
Hijack Season 2 on Apple TV. I feel like I would need Hijack Season 1.
Gotta watch season 1.
Is it good?
I've
I've
seen
never
is that
seen
with
it.
Idris
Okay.
Elba?
Never seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen the commercials for that. That's pretty good.
John, have you
Couldn't
seen
tell
that?
I have not. I don't have Apple TV because I'm waiting for a couple other things to come out because it's not something I want to have year round. So when 3 or 4 shows that I want to watch, I'll get it for like 4 or 5 months and then be done.
Heck yeah. How dialed are you?
Pretty.
But if Idris Elba's in it, I know it's got to be pretty good.
I mean, he doesn't stink.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's
he's
good.
He's also
He's
in a
dope.
movie with John Cena where they both played heads of state. So I don't know about that.
What could be bad about
right.
that?
What's wrong?
Everything.
John Cena's a politician?
No,
Yeah.
the
Sign me up.
politician. He was the president
Okay.
and shot people.
Wait, Cena was or Elba was?
Both.
They were
Well,
both the president.
Idris was a British president, whatever they are. King, monarch, I don't know what they are.
800-239-9569 if you want to get in, help us out. You can text into the show, 205-834-9450. We have other responses coming in of what we need to watch. We will ask if they should be consumed, should not be consumed, and get more of your ideas right after this on Jocks. All right, we have more suggestions coming in as to what Greg and I should be watching now that college football season's over. We will be watching college basketball. We will be watching NFL football, but have a little bit more time for some other things. Royal Payne tweeting in, Landman is Paramount Plus. People with Prime and Paramount Plus can integrate it into Prime interface, so they probably don't know the difference.
See?
That's a lot.
But you're still paying for both.
Told you.
When the question was asked, can you watch it on Prime or do you need Paramount Plus? I felt like that was clearly stated. Like it's
Well, we're getting into that argument
all right,
where
let me start again. Do I have to pay for Paramount Plus to watch Landman?
yes,
Yes.
Situation over.
You're not paying for it?
I don't know.
It's worth it.
Okay.
He also says Justified the Shield Terriers Bosch on Amazon Prime. I did watch The Shield in like 2007.
yeah, 3 of the
It's
4
awesome.
of those are on.
Can't
FX.
imagine that whole
So long ago.
Yeah.
Might an
Shield was really
eternity.
good, though. Justified was good also back in the day. Steven in Texas says hers Netflix, The Rip Netflix.
I've never heard of that one.
Both just dropped within
Yeah,
the
but
last
I just
week.
heard about his
Yeah.
hers.
What
I haven't
is
watched
it?
it. I have no idea.
It's a crime drama where the chief of police and a news anchor, I think, or a cop and someone else like that, like both get different sides of a story, and you're trying to figure
That's
out
the
who
one where the
did what.
guy's set up. What's the one on Netflix where he's set up for something? He's got to try to figure it out.
Probably. I mean that's
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
that
Netflix
one.
shows.
The
Yeah.
Rip on Netflix. Do we know that?
Yeah, that looks
Rip.
good. That's this weekend's watch.
What movie?
You're going with
Movie.
Did you
Show?
say this weekend? Like you can watch the whole thing in a weekend?
It's
It's
a
a
movie.
Oh, it's a
What's it
movie.
about?
I thought it was a show.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are corrupt cops, and they raid a stash
They
house.
solved the mathematical puzzle.
No, you've seen that already. They find a whole bunch of money in a stash house, and they're like, "Oh, we should take it." But then part of their crew, not everyone's like, "Oh, I don't know if we should do this." And then it's the debate on whether or not they should be corrupt. And then there are other people trying to get into the house, and
A whole movie on should we take a pile of money in a house?
in a drug house where the drug dealers are trying to come into the house and kill you.
And
Yeah,
they're already in there?
they
The
find
money
out right
is.
later. Yeah, the money is.
Money is.
The Beast in Me, Netflix, he says.
Gosh, there's so many shows.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, I've never heard of any of these.
He says Hijack Season 2, and they shut Apple's network down for 4 hours earlier this week because of demand for it.
Hey.
What about Season 1? Is the demand there for that? Can I go watch that? I'm not starting a show on Season 2. And I haven't seen Season 1
Well, why?
yet.
We started college football. You didn't start at season 1 then. You didn't watch Auburn's first season.
Wow.
I ain't
It's
seen the
not available.
tape. I ain't seen the tape.
All right, keep the ideas coming in. We'll talk more about that next hour. The Coach Wim Sanderson will be with us next on Jocks.